Good morning children, welcome to AIMS India's online classes. You are watching biology session, heredity from parent to progeny, part 6. So, in the last class we ended the class with a term evolution. What is evolution? Evolution is unrolling or unfolding of nature that brings about an ordinary change from one form or condition to another, resulting in descendants becoming different from ancestors. So, it is a broader definition. Evolution is unrolling or unfolding of nature that brings about an orderly change from one form or condition to another, resulting in descendants becoming different from ancestors. Okay. So, with activity, okay, just introduction of the activity we have seen. Let us continue that activity in the today's session. Activity 3, variations in the population of beetles. Okay. Let us consider a group of 12 beetles. So, you can consider the population of 12 beetles in 3 rows. They live in bushes on green leaves. Okay. So, their population will grow by sexual reproduction. So, they were able to generate some variations in the populations. So, let us assume the crows eat these red beetles. Here some crows are seen, they like eating red beetles. If the crows eat more red beetles, their population what happened? Slowly reduced. Let us think of different situations. So, here 3 situations are given, 1, 2 and 3. Okay. So, let us discuss in detail. So, here a group of 12 beetles are here. So, the crows like to eat these red beetles. So, slowly the population of red beetles start decreasing. The green color beetle, it can hide itself in the green leaves, so it is protected. So, slowly by the end the green color beetles population increased, because crows cannot see those beetles. Okay. In a similar manner, here crushed under the elephant foot. Okay, here the poor growth of these beetles. So, all those things in detail let us discuss the variation in the population of beetles. So, here the situation 1, in this situation a color variation arises during reproduction, color variation. So, that there appears one beetle that is green in color instead of red. Okay. See, here 12 beetles are there, out of which here one appeared green. Okay. So, moreover, this green colored beetle passes its color to its offspring, progeny, so next generation, so that all its progeny are green. See, they undergo the sexual reproduction and produce, here see the green beetles number is more. Okay, out of 12, first only one green beetle was there. Now, how many? Total 7 green beetles and only 5 red beetles. In the next, see, the red beetles are more decreased, 8 green beetles and 4 red beetles, and finally all are green beetles only. Okay. Why this happened means, crows cannot see the green colored beetles on green leaves of the bushes, and therefore, the crows cannot see, they cannot eat. Okay. But the crows can see the red beetles and eat them. So, as a result there are more and more green beetles than red ones which decrease in their number gradually. Finally, the total population, green colored beetle population increased. Okay. This is the first situation. The second situation, if you consider, so here what is happened here? The conclusion of this first situation, the variation of the color in the beetle green gave a survival advantage to the green beetles than red beetles. So, in other words, it was naturally selected, natural selection. So, actually this theory proposed Darwin's theory of natural selection, or Darwinism it is called. He proposed this variations and heredity, how the nature itself select survival of the fittest. Okay, the term introduced by him is survival of the fittest or natural selection. So, during the struggle for existence, only those individuals could survive which exist or which exhibit such variations that are proved to be more beneficial in facing the hardships and rigor of environment, or which change to adapt themselves to the changing conditions. It has been called the natural selection by Darwin, and the survival of the fittest, it was said by Herbert Spencer. Okay, here what happened? The red beetles, their color is easily identified by these crows and they start eating them. So, but the green beetle on the green bushes, so it escaped. So, that is why the population of the green beetles gradually increased, the red beetles perish. Okay? That is called survival of the fittest. Now, we can see that the natural selection was exerted by the crows. The more crows are there, the more red beetles would be eaten, and the more number of green beetles in the population would be. Okay? So, thus the natural selection is directing evolution in the beetle population. So, it results in adaptation in the beetle population to fit in the environment better. Okay? See the crows, here more crows were there. Slowly the crows were also reduced, only one crow left here, because these green beetles cannot be seen by these crows. Okay? Next, let us think of another situation, situation number 2. In this situation number 2, a color variation occurs again in its progeny during reproduction, but now it results in blue color beetles instead of red color beetles. Okay, this blue color beetles can pass its color to its progeny, so that all its progeny are blue. The crows can see blue colored beetles on the green leaves of the bushes and red ones as well, and therefore the crows can eat both red and blue beetles, blue color beetles. Okay, in this case there is no survival advantage for the blue colored beetles, as we have seen in the case of green colored beetles. Okay, here the blue and red beetles, here the red beetles were more, then the blue beetles survived here, so little increase, and later total population becomes blue. But here the advantage or disadvantage same. Okay, red color beetles they can see, the crows can see, and even the blue color beetles also, crows can easily identify and eat both this red and blue colored beetles. Okay, in this case there is no survival advantage for the blue colored beetles. Why? Because as we have seen in the case of green colored beetles, green colored beetles were survived because it cannot be seen by the crows. Okay. So, what happens initially in the population of these beetles? There are a few blue beetles, but most are red. Okay. Imagine at this point an elephant comes by and stamps on the bushes where the beetles live. This kills most of the beetles, isn't it? Elephant food. By chance, the few beetles survived are mostly blue. So, again the beetle population slowly increases, but in the beetle population most of them are blue in color. So, thus sometimes accidents may also result in the changes in certain characters of the population. The characters, as we know, are governed by the genes. Okay, here what happened? So, first red beetles were more in number, the blue beetles were very less. So, once elephant crushed the bush, crushed the leaves with these beetles. So, most of the red beetles were crushed and these blue beetles were survived. Later they breed and produce more number of blue beetles. So, here the conclusion is sometimes the accidents may also result in the changes in their characters or in the population. The characters, as we know, they are governed by the genes. The blue colored gene dominated and produced more blue color beetles. Okay. So, thus there is a change in the frequency of the gene in small populations. This is known as genetic drift, which provides diversity in the population. Genetic drift, okay, or gene migration, gene flow. It is the migrating of the individual interbreed. Okay. So, this is also very important in the evolution. The frequency of gene in the small population, it is known as a genetic drift. So, this genetic drift theory of genetic drift was developed by the geneticist, the scientist by name Sewall-Wright in 1930. It is also called as Sewall-Wright effect or scattering of variability. The genetic drift refers to chance elimination. Okay? Genetic drift refers to chance elimination of the genes of certain traits which are independent of the genes useful or harmful effect. When a section of population migrates or dies of natural calamity, then it alters the gene frequency of the remaining population. Okay. So, here elephant foot crushed these beetles. So, what happened? The genetic drift helps them to increase the mechanism of evolution that acts in the concert with the natural selection to change the species characters over time. So, total blue are produced. So, two important examples of genetic drifts are explained later. You will study about this genetic drift in the higher class. Okay. Let us proceed. The situation number 3. It is the case where the beetles population is increasing, but suddenly bushes were affected by a plant disease. Okay, the situation number 3. Here malnutrition is occurred for the beetles. The plant on which they used to live affected with the disease, in which the leaf materials were destroyed or in which the leaves are affected by this beetles got less food material. So, the beetles are poorly nourished. So, the weight of the beetles decrease, but no changes take place in their genetic material, means that is DNA. After a few years, the plant diseases are eliminated, the bushes are healthy and with plenty of leaves. Okay. What do you think will be condition of the beetles? So, once again the beetle population increases. Okay. So, this situation, the situation number 3, you can imagine here the beetles are very healthy and strong and showing more weight. Now, here the poorly nourished beetles, okay, see how much difference is there. Again, after the disease was eliminated, the bushes were green and healthy, then once again they become normal. Okay. Okay, children, here acquired and inherited characters and evolution. Acquired and inherited characters and evolution. How this acquired and inherited characters helped the evolution process. We discussed the idea that the germ cells of sexually reproducing population are formed in specialized reproductive tissues. If the weight of the beetles is reduced because of starvation, non-availability of food, that will not change the DNA of the germ cells. Means here only physically they become weak, but their genetic material is not changed, isn't it? So, therefore, low weight is not a trait, it is not the character that can be inherited by progeny of a starving beetle, isn't it? So, therefore, even if some generations of the beetles lose their weight because of starvation, there is not an example of evolution, since the changes is not inherited over generations. Okay, by that situation 3, we understood that the food availability or the low nutrition is not the situation or the character which can be useful in the evolution study. The change in the non-reproductive tissues cannot be passed on to the DNA of germ cells, reproductive cells. Okay. So, this is one of the important study made by one scientist by name August Weismann, that is he is a supporter of Darwin. He proposed that the cytoplasm of the animal body is differentiated into 2 plasm, that is somatoplasm and germplasm. The germplasm produce the gametes which transmits the characters of the parents into the offsprings. Okay. The remaining body of an organism is formed of somatoplasm. So, what the Weismann conclusion is, the Weismann emphasized that only those changes which occur in the germplasm, means the DNA which is present in the germ cells, okay, are heritable, means transferable. The changes occurring in the body, that is soma or somatoplasm, due to the environmental effects, are not inherited. Okay, this is the, so that is very important. You have to catch, you catch my point. The change in the non-reproductive tissues cannot be passed on to the DNA of the germ cells. Okay. So, therefore, the experiences of an individual during its lifetime cannot be passed on to its progeny and cannot direct evolution. Okay. So, this is very important. That is why the mutations also, the mutations are the sudden changes, the changes which takes place in the DNA can be transferred to the next. Okay. So, this is for the today's session. We will continue our class. Please read the textbook. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.